Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of South Texas News and Reviews. This is a beautiful day on July the 16th, 2018. There's my email address if you'd like to get a hold of me. And it's gsansing@gmail.com. We've had a lot of inquiries lately about certain aspects of city bookkeeping and so forth and so on. This show is available on YouTube. Just go into Jerry, Jerry, Sansing, and you can pull up the shows. The times for this are Tuesday at 9 p.m. and Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Public Access Channel 10. And I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to take just a couple of seconds with this and just say that here are the roses. I'm going to end the show with this, I imagine. Anyway, those beautiful flowers, they just don't really do all the justice is needed for Miss Connie, Miss Lynn, or Miss April 23. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, lights are on, camera rolling there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go take my seat, and I have a few words to say about a lot of things today. And I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Let me get up here and see what's going on. These beautiful roses today on this beautiful Monday morning. I've got the evening class, so I can film on Mondays now. And anyway, those are dedicated to my mother, Miss Connie, and my deceased Lynn, sweetheart, Miss Lynn, and to a very fine lady that I know these days, Miss April 23. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this and tell you this is South Texas News and Reviews. And the show airs, as I said in the introduction, at 9 o'clock on Tuesdays and 9 o'clock p.m. on Wednesdays. And that's on Public Access Channel 10 here around the Corpus Christi area with a couple of the cable companies. And you can email me at gsansing@gmail.com. I got a very interesting email this morning which I'm going to investigate. And then I will go ahead and report on that. Another city boondoggle, folks. I can't express to you enough, or the number of times and so forth, that you are being duped by your elected officials. You're not doing your homework when you go to vote for people. You're not doing your homework when you go and vote for all these special bond elections and so forth, so that we can buy 96 acres of swampland and put a $500 million campus out there to house 20,000 students on the south side at Rod Field in Yorktown. We can't fill up the campuses we've got. They're empty rooms everywhere. I'm going to discuss why in the Venters building we've got the second floor vacated now. I don't know what happened. I'm going to ask for an explanation. I've used this before. As far as I'm concerned, the majority of the elected officials around here, there are some honest ones, folks. I can name, but take me less fingers than I've got on one hand to tell you about those people. But here's old Pinocchio. They're all Pinocchios. They lie to you. And then here's Jiminy Cricket, which I hope you will assist me in, giving them hell about the lies that they're telling. And that's what it is. They're blatant lies. Okay? Now, one thing that has aggravated me lately, and let me interject this. I took a very special person, April 23, up to San Marcos on Friday. I'll give you some information about her. She flew an airplane for the first time in that category, which is called a tail dragger. She did get her first lesson in a very powerful advanced trainer from the World War II. It was a Navy version of a North American AT-6 Texan, and she got her first lesson in that, and she's been taking lessons in regular civilian aircraft without a tail wheel on it, and then now she had the opportunity to go up there and fly an aerobatic airplane called a Citabria. I think Belanca built those. And she was in hog heaven. And then she got to fly into a friend of mine, a grass strip with her instructor, okay? And visit a friend of mine who rebuilds World War I aircraft and antique aircraft like that. So she got a real lesson. And then she got to fly it back out of that grass strip and back to the control airport. And she was did an excellent job, according to a very good friend of mine who was a CFI, a certified flight instructor, that logged her in that hour in that Citabria. But I'm going to show some films of that at the end of this, and there won't be much sound except the sound of a roaring airplane engine. But anyway, I'll end the show with that. So whenever I cut off, then we'll have that, and then maybe the flowers at the tail end of that little expose. Anyway, I just want to welcome you all again. Now, one thing that has been irritating the stuffings out of me and a lot of other people, I am the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association. My vice president is Jack Gordy, retired Navy person with a long history in the Navy, and he believes, as I do, if something's wrong, say something about it. Don't sit there and not know what's going on and believe a bunch of politicians and elected officials. Now, several years ago, I pitched a fit, as did Mr. Gordy, both of us equally together, about the palm trees and the sidewalk over there at the Gulfway Shopping Center, and that was in non-compliance for the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is under this Civil Rights Division under Department of Justice. So we complained to the city about that, and this esteemed city attorney, Mr. Miles Risley, he indicated that we don't have to do anything about that, that if someone needs to walk down the sidewalk and they're disabled, and he didn't mention women that have strollers that they need to get around with because they don't have the money at this stage of the game to walk around, to drive around, and they're going from, let's say, one end of the shopping center to the other, either to board a bus or walk home or whatever. Then he was crude enough, and I've got this in writing, that those people can either go in the street or they can go up into the parking lot, that it really doesn't matter. They can get down these block sidewalks anyway. So I don't know. Finally, the power company, I think it was, I don't know, Apex, one of them, went over and cut those 4 major trees down, ground the stumps, and then filled in the stuff, because the city, according to Mr. Risley, also couldn't afford to cut down 4 palm trees, grind the stumps out, and pour some concrete to make it a ADA compliant sidewalk. Then I've harped on the one at Tarleton and Ayers, and there's one over on Everhart at about, I forget the exact location on that one. I think it, I'm not thinking straight with the street over there. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, they're all over town, and then, the city lies and cheats and steals from people and so forth and so on, and expects you to sit there fat, dumb, and happy because that has been your modus operandi in the past, and you don't care about where your money goes or whatever. So what I'm going to ask you to do out there, my lazy ones, is to get off your butts and go educate yourselves about what's going on around this town. You will be horrified, and maybe we can get some people in there that are not Pinocchios, and they're not after getting money for their buddies, their rich buddies, architects, engineers, contractors, bankers, and so forth and so on. You're being had, folks. I keep preaching it, but you just won't listen. Anyway, letters to the editor 2 days ago. It says, celebrating 28 years of ADA. Now, what the groups are trying to do, and it's let's see, it's the Coastal Bend Center for Independent Living and its partners, including the Corpus Christi Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center and the League of Women Voters and the Behavioral Health Center of Nueces County. And what they're trying to do through the Coastal Bend Center for Independent Living is to go ahead and have a bunch of people register to vote. They're having voter gatherings here to sign up people. And then on Thursday, of this week, and this will air after that, unfortunately. But at the Center for Economic Development, Del Mar College, and I think that's at Costorix and Staples. At 11:30, they're going to have a meeting over there, and there are going to be some people talking about ADA compliance. So I'm going to go over there, and Mr. Gordy's going to go over there, and we're going to educate all these people that think that everything's just real rosy around this town as far as that goes. Okay? I don't know. All right? Now, another thing that bothers me is the lack of information that you get from Del Mar College, the Board of Regents members, because Board of Regents members are not aware of a lot of things that go on with the administration over there. They're not told the truth about what's going on or informed about certain things that are about ready to be impending doom. But there is a law firm that they've hired consistently for hundreds of thousands of dollars now over the years out of Austin, Graves, Daughtry, Herron, and Moody. And I have asked for their billings before, and they have refused that. Okay, so the attorneys covering for Del Mar College, which is Graves Daughtry, they're just making themselves a whole lot of money in addition to the $59,000 plus that was awarded to them or sent to them. On the check was dated May the 25th of this year. Prior to that, I tried to get billings from them, and they have decided through Del Mar College that a lot of information about lawsuits that these people have been conducting and I guess investigations and stuff for Del Mar College are none of our business as taxpayers. So what I did was I asked for some information a while back, and they said that it was attorney-client privilege on one of these lawsuits. Del Mar's sued frequently, okay? And then when they do lose the lawsuit after 4 or 5 years, and a jury comes in and says that they owe a person a lot of money, the Del Mar College will spend another $300,000 trying to, reverse that. They'll appeal it. It's a tragedy, folks, and we've got some of the biggest blockheads over there at Del Mar I've ever seen in my life, and I know one of the attorneys doesn't like me saying that, but he's just in it to make Graves Daughtry a whole bunch of money, and the insurance attorneys and all that good stuff. Now, what they did was they not only filed for an opinion through the Attorney General's office on my request. I guess the Attorney General did not agree with them about what was attorney-client privilege. So then I get a letter the other day that the Graves Daughtry has filed a lawsuit against the Attorney General's office. Okay? So you figure that one out. That's going to cost you some more money, ladies and gentlemen, big-time money. So I just happen to have the complaint information here and filing with the Attorney General's office, and I'm going to make sure that I am a big portion of that lawsuit against Attorney General. I'm going to be wholeheartedly behind them because I'm sick and tired of being screwed around and having things misrepresented at Del Mar College. Another thing that really aggravates the hell out of me is I've asked for the information and the research results and stuff for a grant that's said at Del Mar College, and that certain professor, a privileged one, has developed a trademark solution to cure antibiotic-resistant bacteria that are pathogens to human beings. They say it's trademarked. It's all over the halls over there as a trademark product. I asked for all of the trademark applications and all the data that went into making sure that that was a life-saving spray, and what I get back is there are no documents responsive to your request, which means that's a bunch of lies and a bunch of bovine excrement all over the walls over there. And I mean, this administration loves it. Now, in addition to that, the Board of Regents, the majority of them, misspend your money. They over budget, and then they raise your taxes and so forth and so on. So this t-shirt has an information about that in the upcoming elections here, pretty quick, we need to change the 3 regents that are up for re-election should be ousted and kicked out on their fannies, folks. Okay? So like I say, we've got $59,311.42, which was a charge by Graves Daughtry. The check was issued to them on May the 25th. See, they're real far behind in Delmar. It's about 2 months before they publish the checks that they've written a couple of months before. So I have asked last week for all the information and billing and information on the billings that added up to $59,311.42. So if you guys want to go ahead and participate in some of this, I will be more than happy to sit down and show you how to write a Public Information Act request, and you can see if you can get it also. And then we can just, let's just spend all our money over there. We can't maintain buildings and so forth and so on. So, if we can't take care of deferred maintenance, and that's what I call Delmar College now, it's the Deferred Maintenance College, DMC, okay, then help me out, okay? Come to the Taxpayers Association meetings, which is the first Saturday of every month at Small Planet Delicatessen, okay, and at 2 o'clock, or just email me, gsansing@gmail.com, and I'll give you the information. Be more than happy to do that, and I tell you the truth, we need to wake this citizens up around here, the taxpayers, and get them to participate for a change, instead of just sit there on your butts and do nothing but be screwed over by a bunch of slick talking elected officials. Okay? Now another thing, speaking of Delmar College, this came out on the 4th of July, a bombshell, firecracker, by Beatrice Alvarado. She covers for Delmar College. She's all for keeping information away from the public. She didn't talk about the tax hikes a while ago. She just wanted to join the Delmar College, some of the Board of Regents members, to try to get rid of Dr. Guy Watts. He finally quit. He was District 4 Regent. Now he is running for the at-large, and I hope he makes it back in. Okay, he deserves his freedom of speech and not have the Beatrice Alvarado down his neck with the Caller Times either. And the Caller Times is a very biased newspaper, folks. They're off the wall. The only reason I subscribe to it is to get the information so I can go ahead and tell you fine folks what scoundrels they are and scoundrelettes over there. But Delmar will no longer offer the GED courses. Okay? That's when you go get your high school equivalency through the GED program. Okay? Education development. Okay? General education development is the GED program. Now, why they lost that, I don't know. I met someone yesterday at the grocery store. That person teaches in the Buddy Venters building, East Campus of Delmar College, and that person indicated that the second floor, which was GED programs over there, is vacant. There are no classes being held in there. At the same time, we're putting up a $45 to $47 million extensive complex over there to house classrooms and faculty offices. Okay, it's amazing. Now, we haven't had an increase in enrollment. I can prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. In fact, it's gone down a little bit here since 1992. But now we need a 20,000 student, $500 million campus on swampland. I showed a couple of shows ago that that's one great big lake when it rains real hard. It always has. I've been keeping an eye on that property for a long time. I used to go out and work on an antique car out there in that general area, and I'd pass it every weekend when I went out there. And I've seen cows out there from the previous owner that were belly deep in water after it rained. It's got a big drainage ditch there that goes down into Oso Bay. It's the corner of Yorktown and what is that? Not Nile, but anyway, you know where I'm talking about. Okay, Rod Field. So go out there next time it rains and take some pictures. I've filmed it frequently, and you know, I'm totally appalled at the Del Mar College Board of Regents. A number of them lied, cheated, and stole to get you folks to vote for that. It was a very narrow margin, but you're looking at $500 million to build a swampland campus that we do not need. There is no justification for it. Okay? But I want to know what happened to the GED program and why Del Mar College lost that program. Okay? If you find out, let me know. And then I've talked about the flooding on the South Campus and so forth. Okay? You know, we've got decreased enrollments down from 1992, essentially. Okay? We've lost the GED program. Okay, we're in a crash crunch over there. We can't get anything done. Okay, they did not and would not, because of finances, run classes that people were asking for in the summer 1 of this year, and probably summer 2. Okay, okay, we can't even hire adjuncts. Enough money to do that, to teach classes. So, and then like I say, I consider DMC to be the defrayed maintenance college. It's a pitiful over there, folks. And then we have this latest one. This came out on the 9th. It says Clayburg Bank donates $50,000 to Del Mar College. Okay, and that goes to the chapter over there, the Del Mar College Foundation. And, you know, it's this big picture there of everybody smiling, and Clayburg Bank check to Del Mar College for $50,000. Everybody just standing there looking like, you know, they just won that $50,000 in the lottery, I guess. Okay, the donation will be used to establish an endowed scholarship in Clayburg Bank's name. Okay, well, Clayburg needs to dump some change every once in a while. They're making a whole bunch of money and profits off of you fine folks out there. And of course, I think if we look real diligently at the building out here and who's lended money to build and so forth, then probably Clayburg's up to their butt in that one too. Okay. And it says Clayburg Bank is also building a new financial center at Horn Road and the Crosstown Expressway to replace its Air Street facility. Apparently it gave the Air Street facility to Del Mar College with the request that Del Mar College could have the building, and then we could go over there and spend a bunch of money to renovate that. And I think the bank is still going to be leasing space from the renovated building. And, you know, I mean, folks, you would not believe the crap that goes on around this town. It's unbelievable. So, you know, I'm surprised I haven't been shot by now. I just hope Del Mar College and the city and the county and whoever out there, you hire a real good hitman so I don't have to lay around a hospital and suffer a long time. Okay, just make sure they're damn good shots when you do it. Okay, now here's another thing that we can do. We had an alarm system, fire alarm system, out in the Buddy Venters building on East Campus, Del Mar College, for over a year. Then they were paying through the nose to have this person or these people go around and play live alarm systems, and then professors that needed to go over there at night and do their duty. And I do an awful lot. You know, I wish I had a 40-hour a week job. Mine's more like 60 or 70, but I love it. I'm going to talk about how great the students are, the vast majority of them anyway. But anyway, so what they did is they took some of the bond money, and which we're going to be paying out and replacing and paying off for the next 25 to 30 years, and they took the alarm, $300 and something thousand, I think, for the alarm system replacement over there, and it's only guaranteed for 10 years. So if it goes out in 11 or 12, which it probably will do, we have planned obsolescence built into everything that we buy in this country these days, from automobiles, to Tinker Toys or whatever. Then what you're going to have is you're going to be paying for that thing probably at least one more time, and have to pay it out over 25, 30 years and pay the interest on it. And how many buildings does Del Mar College have with these alarms in it? I mean, this funny money that keeps going on over there is just enough to, just enough to make you want to sit down and cry. And then they'll go and back students up on complaints against faculty members that they don't particularly like. I know, Dr. Rito Silva went on a witch hunt. I know you don't like that term because of the local politics, but as I said, my mother, her family has been in this country since 1700, 1701, somewhere back there, and they were all from Salem, Massachusetts, so I know a witch hunt when I have had one going after me. So good luck there, Dr. Rito Silva, next time. And then we got started again the other day with another student, but he didn't show up. I guess he figured that he knew I was gonna smack him around for lying about me. So anyway, so I don't know. And then we've got we've got two of the finest, actually three professors at Del Mar College. One of them was a math professor, Dr. Pasha. I think he's gone now. But anyway, I think he has passed away. And then we had Dr. Janelle Bennett, who was one of the best PhD nursing instructors in the country, and 3 students went after her in Del Mar. I think it was pretty well racist. I'll just spit it out there, among the nursing program over there, the head of the nursing department and all. So she was had dismissal hearings going on and finally settled out and left. And then we had the locking out of Dr. Bruce Olson, PhD historian and the department chair of the social sciences department. They stole his computers and books and everything else in there. It's all disappeared. He went through several years of lawsuits with Del Mar College. When it got to the Texas Supreme Court, they said the guy should not have been fired, so go have the trial. The jurors came back and awarded him a good chunk of change after $300,000 plus spent by your tax-paying buddies over there, or the ones you pay taxes to, Del Mar College, $300,000 for all of those appeals and so forth. And when that verdict came down, here's Del Mar, they're back at it. They're going to go ahead and appeal that ruling. So I guess it's going to cost another $300,000. And in the meantime, Dr. Olson does have a massive lawsuit against Del Mar College, a whistleblower. And that's going to occur, I guess, sometime here, at least by October, up in Austin in a different court. So maybe that judge won't be tied at the hip to Del Mar College attorneys. Okay. I mean, the judge here is I'm going to find out when that person is going to be up for re-election, and I'm going to blow the whistle big time, folks. There's no sense in taking sides when you're a judge in a case. You're supposed to be impartial. We had our Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association board meeting, which is board meetings are 2 o'clock, Small Planet Deli on the first Saturday of the month. Anybody's welcome, but the board meets at that time and you can participate as a taxpayer. But anyway, we went over several things. One of them was the cost for outside attorneys at Del Mar College. Jack Gordy, my vice president, and I have been after that. Like I say, Graves Daughtry walked away in May 25th with a $59,000 plus check, and I've asked for the backup statements and stuff for that. I'm sure they're going to appeal that one back to the the Attorney General's office, and then we can file another lawsuit. Delmar can file another lawsuit along with Graves Daughtry, or through Graves Daughtry, against the state. The state says the information should be there, and so now we're going to go ahead and go to court and try to delay. Okay? And then we talked about the total confusion on the budget line items at Delmar College budget, and then the loss of the GED program, and then the CCISD enrollment drop and tax increase. I'm going to talk about that if I've got a little bit of time in a few minutes. And, you know, if Delmar College is preaching that they're going to be bursting at the seams and need all these new facilities for 20,000 other students, we can't fill up what we've got on East and West now. We've got empty classrooms everywhere. Now that GED has been lost, then that whole second floor of Venner's building is vacant, and that's a lot of room and classroom, and so forth and so on. So, you know, the lies continue. And, you know, you can talk it up over there, Delmar College administrators and some of the board members, but remember, folks, 3 board members are going to be up this cycle. So I'll tune in and I'll give you their names, numbers, ranks, and what they stand for, which is nothing but screwing the taxpayers, and we'll get that done. But if we've got a decrease in enrollment at CCISD, that's not going to mean that we're going to be bursting at the seams with new enrollment, increased enrollment at Delmar College. Seriously, folks, you know, and these people think that you're a bunch of idiots and morons out there, and you know, it's just incredible to me. So I don't mind telling you the truth about it. You know, all they do over there at Delmar is lie to the Board of Regents members or not even tell them about it. Then we've got the city, okay? Brakes on aging pipes keep repair crews busy. And then we had one out on the 10th just the other day. Official, city water quality, best we've ever had. Well, it can be lousy and substandard and still be the best we've ever had in this city, okay? And then they quote this one person, Assistant Director of Water Quality and Treatment in the Utilities Department for the city. They've got a picture of him. I know him well from times past. He does have a graduate degree from CCSU, I think, or it may have been A&M Corpus Christi at the time. And then he went from adjunct teaching at Delmar. I won't mention anything about that. But anyway, then he was down at the city water department, okay? And so he's the one that was representing the city when a bunch of us had what was called the CARP Coalition, or whatever it was. We were, and I'm still very concerned about fecal contamination, fecal bacteria in the water out here in the bay every time it rains, and it flushes out the storm sewers around here. The city contended that that was all the cat poop that's in your front yard, and all you nasty people that go out and let your dogs run around, or you take them on a leash and they go out and poop in my front yard, and it goes down the drain. You know, people won't pick up the fecal material, most people. And we had a chance for a very low cost to have those samples sent off, the coliforms and so forth and so on, and you can determine genetically the origin of those. Is it camel? Is it aardvark? Okay, is it a baboon or whatever, or is it human? And I do know that we do have a very, very, very bad problem with our sewer lines, the old clay ones, coming apart in the holes, and then that gives leakage into the water lines, and you get coliform in your house, and then it leaks into the storm sewer, and when it rains it flushes out into the bay. So that's it. And then here we go, brakes on aging pipes keep repair crews busy. I've preached for a long and large number of days, months, and years and weeks that we need to start spending a whole lot more money on our infrastructure here, water line, sewer line pipes, and so forth and so on, than all these pie in the sky things around here. And then every time you turn around, the city is abating taxes for these companies that have come in and add more pollution to us. And it's incredible. And then I learned an awful lot when I was the chair of the Clean Economy Coalition, when the Las Brisas Energy Center wanted to come in here and put out one of the most polluting power plants known to man and beast. And it took about 100 or so of us, 200 people were involved all together, fantastic people who paid attention to what was going on around here with air quality and so forth, and they believed that the American Pediatric Association knew what they were talking about when they said if that Las Brisas goes in, you're going to kill at least 100 infants a year around this general area, and induce asthma and severe lung problems, and kill cardiac patients in addition to that. So finally the state listened to that, and we don't not have that, but it's the same old crowd trying to make the same old money. And if you're in the steel and pipe business and you've got a $2 or $3 billion plant going up that's mostly concrete, then yeah, you're going to make a hell of a lot of money. And you don't care about the local citizens, even though you put a clown suit on and go over there to Driscoll and entertain those poor kids over there in the cancer wards and stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. These people are despicable as far as I'm concerned. City council prioritized maintenance of streets. That's a whole line of bovine excrement for you. They don't give a damn about this, but there are a lot of people making money now as the streets fall apart, and it doesn't seem to get any better. So every 2 or 3 blocks you go around here, they're piddling around doing something with the street and got it blocked off and detours and all the rest of this crap. This should have been going on a long time ago. And I will say that our former mayor and police chief, Henry Garrett, was chastised severely around here by a lot of people when he said we need to start concentrating on fixing the streets and so forth instead of tax abatements and giving money away to companies that are making billions of dollars around here. And the deferred maintenance isn't going to cut it. And people got all over him about that, folks. And bless your heart, Henry, you're a fine man. And I wish people had paid attention to you back then instead of buying, what was it, $12,000 or $1,200 seats for the city council. And it's crazy. How does revenue from sales taxes affect the city's budget? It does. Okay, it always costs more than what's on the price tag. That's called change orders. We had an air conditioning company that worked for Delmar a long time, and found out they were always instilling change orders. That's when you bid low and then you get in a bind and you go back for more, and it's called a change order, so that whoever you're doing the work for pays more money. And then, by golly, guess what happens? We can see a great big offshore fishing boat down there in the valley, in Brownsville I think it was, and it was owned by that guy that owned the AC company, and the name of his boat was Change Order, if that tells you anything about what's going on. Okay, Nueces County gives Permaco tax incentives for $550 million project. Okay, and this is the one where they say they're going to come in and liquefy gas and get stuff from the Permian Basin, and the gas, and then liquefy it, and then they're going to use the port over here to send it off to China and all the other places that are buying that stuff now. And that's assuming that we don't have international problems with our energy these days. But here we go. Tax incentives. That's just what we need more of, just like they did over there in Portland, and Gregory Portland with that big oil company that's coming in to crack oil and make something over there. I know what it is, but I'm not supposed to know what the hell's going on with the water quality or anything else. We're going to let people with lesser degrees than my degrees in chemistry and microbiology tell the people a bunch of lies about why we've got coliforms in the bay. And we could get it real cheap to find out, is it fecal material from human beings? Is it dogs? Is it bats? Is it aardvarks? Is it hippopotamus? elephants, whatever. Okay. In Corpus Christi's addiction to corporate giveaways. This was Tom Crimple, and this is an excellent article. If you want to look it up, it came out May 19th of 18. I'm hanging on to this one. Okay. And, you know, he questioned why Cane Beef and M&G Resins and Schlitterbahn and everybody owes these great big huge utility bills and back taxes and everything else. Okay. Because it's addiction to corporate giveaways, which is these tax abatements. Okay. And then here we go, we're going to sell the water plant. Okay. The city of Corpus Christi's Cunningham water plant is located off Interstate 37 near Lavani Park. The city hopes to sell the plant to a developer. Former treatment facility could be revamped into venture. Yeah, well, I don't know how much this is going to cost us. It's just like that damn courthouse down there. We're going to get skinned alive, you know. And why should we be supporting private developers to go in there and build a luxury hotel on that property? It's your tax money. Okay, you're not going to get $1 out of that. They'll go ahead and tax abate that one too. You watch and see. Okay, and then here we go. Flower Bluff ISD to dissolve university prep program. New state requirements mean Flower Bluff Independent School District can't comply. Now that's probably one of the best independent school districts in this area. CCISD cannot seem to prepare students for college level work. Okay, and now we've got the GED program all screwed up. So, you know, education doesn't mean a hell of a lot around here to a lot of people. And then it says support public participation at city meetings. Amen to that one, folks. I can't make them a lot of times because they've got the public comment section and so forth. At times when I'm teaching, I did essentially 4 overload classes. My normal is 3 classes with labs. I did actually 7 this last go around in the springtime. I'm doing an overload summer 1, or I did, and I'm doing an overload summer 2 to get these people through. Okay, so. And then it says CCISD avoids deficit with tax hike. And then they had CCISD will offer free meals next year. That's great. I can buy that one. And then the caller times on 7/11. See what's really damaging Corpus Christi ISD. It's the low enrollment and overspending, and you know, building the Veterans High School that nobody will occupy out there. CCISD needed one-time Harvey-related tax hike. They're blaming it on Harvey. Okay, we didn't sustain as much damage as the other places, folks. So you know, it's just a scam by elected officials, and I think they had the what's this guy's name? Roland Hernandez and Catherine Susser, and you know, I mean. They say we need that tax hike, and what it is to make sure that people don't understand they've been abusing our money for a long time. And then here's the poor caller times why newsprint tariff on Canada hurts the U.S. Okay, and that means that they can't get cheap materials to put this blather out that they preach, particularly this person, Eugene Robinson, columnist. Okay, Trump's overt racism will not win. It looks like Mr. Robinson is of African American descent. Of course, anybody that's not that color is, and you're white, you're a racist. And then here's Nick Jimenez, and he says the same thing. Anti-Hispanic actions say a lot. This came out May the 6th. I'm still hanging on to this one, and you know, because I am a person of Caucasian persuasion. Norwegian actually in the 800s, came into England and down through that into this country in the 1700s, early 1700s. My ancestors, Mr. Jimenez, fought for your right to say all this stuff all the way up through my father, who passed away 4 years ago. And speaking of him, and then here, where is the blue wave for races in South Texas? So Mr. Nick Jimenez, you're calling everybody except yourself and your heritage a bunch of racists, but I think you're one of the biggest. Okay? So if you want to debate me on the air, let's have at it, and I won't get into the porno from the Del Mar College Foghorn newspaper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that Miss April 23 was a fantastic student, wanted to pursue pre-nursing when I met her in my microbiology class several years ago, and she wasn't real happy with that. She was working out here at the naval base for a private contractor that preps the airplanes for the naval pilots. She was an airplane captain. She inspects those before the Navy pilots take off to make sure that they are safe. There have been a lot of problems, and I understand. I'll see if I can dig into that one. She was hassled excessively out there by some of the males in the administration of that out there, some of which I think it's been rumored that they have been fudging papers out there, got caught, and now they're probably gone. So she quit that, and she is airplane crazy. So I was able to get her first flight, her first lesson for her private license in an SNJ-4. It's a Army Air Force AT-6 Texan from Second World War. It's a tail dragger, beautiful airplane. That was my first flight lesson when my dad started to teach me how to fly years ago. And then, so what we did was she got a ride in that and got her first flight lesson. And then, like I say, we were able to get her up to San Marcos, Texas. Now, in 1976, I retired from one industrial complex and antibiotic pharmaceutical company developing antibiotics. And I came home, and that's when I went to San Marcos, and my dad was there. He had retired from the Air Force and was rebuilding some classic World War II aircraft, fighter aircraft and so forth. So that's when I got my first flight lesson, and I finished my lesson up, and I flew things that people could only dream about. So I wanted April 23 to have that experience, so I took her up there. Now my father was flying, and we worked on one of the only, or it is the only original Bell P-39 known to be flying, and it was dedicated to my mother. There was a silhouette on the side, a portrait of her, and the aircraft was named Miss Connie. So I did get her up there, and she was very interested in that. So we went over to the Commemorative Air Force Central Texas Wing, and she saw some airplanes and so forth. And fortunately, she wanted to see the cockpit of that P-39. So they had rolled it out that day when we got there. That was Saturday. And they were going to run it up, and they had a man that balances props on those things. So they were running it up, and then she did get to sit in that thing, and we photographed that. So, you know, she's going to be going into aeronautical engineering. I'm not going to say when or where. It's going to be soon. And, you know, bless her heart, she's been able to see and fly some things that most people only dream about. So I'm going to attach that Belanca Citabria film of her loading up with a dear friend of mine who's a CFI there at the Texas State Aviation. Now that's associated with the university there in San Marcos, Texas. So she was able to get a flight in the tail dragger. That's quite an accomplishment. Unfortunately, the parachutes had just run out of date on their usefulness, so she wasn't able to go out and participate in some aerobatics. That's upside down and backwards. But we're going to get her up there and get the chutes done and have her go through that. She's a fantastic student, very bright, and that just goes to show you, if you take care of students over there at Del Mar College and you pay attention to their needs and so forth and so on, and work on their strengths. That's what I try to do with quadruple overloads in nursing and pre-allied health and, you know, biology majors, pre-med, and so forth and so on. Then that's my purpose over there. I'm not going to get rich doing that. I get a lot of flack from that administration that speaks with forked tongue many times. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here in about 30 seconds, and I'm going to splice in that flight when she taxis out, and then when she taxis back in, and I, just notice a grin on her face. And I'll see if I can put a picture, still picture in there for a few seconds of that her in the cockpit looking over the panel and so forth in that P-39. So anyway, and then she got to see a lot of other rare warbirds and so forth and so on. So thank you for having me into your life and your TV watching, and I'm just going to go ahead and shut this one down. And please call me, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please. And email me and let me know what's going on, and start paying attention to these, I'll just say, lying politicians. You can tell when a politician is lying to you. All you got to do is when their lips start moving, that's it. So I'll be back with, at the end of this, I'm going to film some roses too. Good evening. Okay, it's recording.
We're going to have to start it too. There's the start. I can get it ready to go, but you can do the starting, and also this mixer can push the button. After we get it started, we can pull it back out. Now, the radio is above that 1200, and when it comes on, you'll see frequencies. And the big knob and the little knob on the right, right there, that's how you change frequencies. I'll give you some new numbers, because I think what we need first is not in there right now. So I'll be giving you numbers to put in there. And let's see what else. Do you have any questions? Don't be afraid to ask.
No, it's my first time taxiing in this thing, so I probably need a little bit of help. So if I start.
Okay, can you pull on the door from there? You go, pull like that. All right, I'm gonna let you. There you Roger said to tell you hello. Jack said, come see him. Shade.
Turn the camera off. Film all
Oh, yeah.
this. Aviatrix there, yeah.